going to this sacred space, it is from this deep place that I ask that all energies and information that is shared may be of its highest light for the good and betterment of all.
Let yourself see with two eyes. Let yourself see through new eyes. It is the lens in which your perception is skewed. Let yourself see through new eyes. Let yourself see. Let yourself feel. Through your eyes. The world can change, dear one. It is only from the lens in which you are seeing that your world changes. We are Anael. We have come forth. Time of need of great transformation. Transmutation. Those of you who already know this, many of you know this, and then We are very familiar with your world, and it never seems to amuse us. It's like we see it for the first time, with great curiosity and wonderment. To be curious is to keep that spark alive, like a little child that's curious, sees adventure from a leaf on the ground or a twig that's fallen off a tree. You see this and you say, remember those days? I used to be like that. That is curious for us to even feel that from you. It is such that we see you different, and we see you as we see you as that curious, energetic being you are. And so we would never impede on your experience or tell you otherwise how to feel. We just stand in where we know you to be. Be curious, not curious as if never, not trusting curious. Some of you are experts at that, and investigation curious because of your own distorted view and how you are seeing from that lens. You all have different lenses, different pair of spectacles we would use analogous to paint the picture. In your life, we would say there have only been certain experiences that have drawn up quite a big deal of momentum and emotion around it, in such that it shapes who you are. What we mean by this is not only do you have the emotion, but that emotion perpetuates this spiral effect of acting, thinking, as well as doing so in ways where you've had the trauma or the emotional experience, and it shapes you. It shapes your character and you, but that's not the real you. So in time, you see your life from those lenses, from that experience. Let's say the emotion that was embedded, that left you in your body. We say this because it is very different and not even the same category when you say thinking it or feeling it in the body. We would say that any unexpressed emotion solidifies not in the brain, it's in the body. And whatever feeling that has made the impression upon the body. Let's say the experience left you feeling hurt. Now, this is a very big subject and a very good one at that. It takes many shapes and forms. We will say, if it made you feel hurt, it depends on the particular human in the experience that each individual has a different outcome and response of viewing at the world. What we mean by this is that person you feel hurt from this experience. There's only two types that you can do with this. First, the person could be what you would call an extrovert, and then there's the introvert. The person withdraws in and they don't say anything, or they say something and lets you have it, or be defensive, or make sure that that doesn't happen again. These individuals that are extroverts will take action, do something, make sure, put plans into place that that doesn't happen again. Play investigator and always on the lookout. Linda was like this until recently. Never, it's undetected. This is why we are making and spending this time with you to discuss this. These are not detected, and they're extremely sophisticated, meaning that they're so subtle, it's not detected. So you think that you're looking, I'm not blind, I'm looking at it from this. You're looking at it from a different lens. And how do we know? Well, let us ask you this. Are you open and loving to everyone, to your mates? Do you openly give love and praise? No. These are very subtle ways in which you make sure that that doesn't happen again. We will use Linda as an experience to show you what we mean. Linda, as a young girl, she always felt like she was not abandoned, that she had taken, something was taken from her, that she was forgotten about. She always felt forgotten about. So anyone that feels hurt, as she did this study and read, anyone that feels hurt feels that there was something taken away. Something has been taken away that leads you to be hurt, and so she recognizes this and says, I feel this, correct, this was the hurt. I felt hurt. She felt that the nurture and the role of the mother was taken away from her. That what was taken away from her. Also compute, okay. And at that young age, when you lose that connection with the first being who is supposed to nurture and love you, well, naturally the intimacy is lost. And you wonder why you lack intimacy in your own life, because for those that have parents that did not show this intimacy, that was the first person who showed you. that is just a version of the truth that you experienced and that was taught from their parents. And shortly after she was baffled at what she automatically did without even thinking or trying to plotting or conniving, she had always just thought that she is very good at making demands and rules, and very good at expectation, saying that she expects high of herself, that's why she expects expectations, and when these rules or certain things that are broken, she cuts people off, and that's just how she is, she would say, until the day she read when she studied the IQ, and she then realized that the reason why she had all these expectations was because at that young age she made sure that she was not going to be forgotten about, and as such she put these rules and regulations in place and these expectations to ensure she is not forgotten about. Now you can see this, and we can feel you seeing it, that the more you put up your boundaries and barriers and make sure that the worse it gets and the worse you isolate yourself. And this is what we mean as a very good example of naturally putting up and building things and building up areas and being a certain way, and never even realizing that it was just her way of protecting herself. What she really was doing was isolating herself and solidifying the lack of intimacy even further. We will say your level of expectation based upon how strong that expectation is the only deciding factor between, well, anything. We will explain your parents. That is a very strong emotional connection. Some of you would call it cords. You have this cord between you and your biological parents. We would say all it is this strong cord of your expectation of what parents should be. That is what binds the cord. There is a biological cord that connects you always to your biological mother, because naturally you are in her womb. We were talking about the energetic component of what that is, of what we speak of. We see you all doing these different rituals and magic cutting a cord and this and visualizing. All that is very complicated, you all make this. All that is really needed is simply recognizing that it is you that put the expectation on whoever. Realizing that it is you that puts such expectation, it sets you free. It unbinds that cord cord, it cuts that cord automatically. And so these different types of experience that shapes who you are becoming or are now, it gets a deeper groove, it solidifies even more. And so now, instead of having one lens, one spectacles for the, now you have one abandon, or in Linda's case, one spectacles that is that's a forgotten spectacles. Or maybe you have also the we say the abandoned spectacles and the rage spectacles, or the depressed or me spectacles. You all are viewing the world from different spectacles on. We also say recognizing these does immediately breaks that cycle. Nonetheless, it does not mean that you're not going to feel that again, or that won't happen again, because this is the cycle of life, and you cycle life by living and feeling. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the expectation. Have you ever noticed whenever you don't go somewhere, you don't have an answer, yes or no, you just are kind of whatever, and anything's, I don't care, and I don't have, don't you feel free? Isn't there a sense of freedom in this? You all feel bound, and this is a very excellent point. You all feel bound and not free. Even you do it to yourself because of the expectations you all place on yourself. It is the expectation of you getting an A in the class. It is the expectation of I should have had my degree at this point. You all feel bound and not free. Part of we touched upon this about emotional freedom and how that correlates to abundance. And adding to this, we speaking out here for all, that would also chokes you and makes you feel bound is your own expectations. We also meet you at points where you are able to hear, and that it's not over exerting, we never give you anything you cannot handle. We are very subtle. Our messages to you are somewhat subtler. This is why we must take heed of the ability to listen. Intuition. Do not doubt your intuition. And you don't get it in here by thinking intuition. It comes from the heart center and the biosphere, the electromagnetic field that it emanates. We say go at your own pace. Anything that is done out of obligation will always have a host of resentment towards the other. What is intuition. It is discussed quite often, and not knowing the meaning behind this, you all have a self-compass embedded in you because you came from Source. That's the compass, Source energy. And you all have an embedded natural compass through Source. And if a compass always has his map and his guidance system, he never gets lost, one would think, correct? Right? Your compass is equivalent to your heart. It is your heart. Your heart generates more electricity and sends out more electromagnetic field around you more than any other organ via blood, and it sends out and stores and is able to amplify and project your emotions and what you are feeling. And we say, when you feel in love, where do you feel it the most? Of course, the heart chakra. Equally, the reverse said, if you despise and the other, you feel a sense, you still feel your heart, but it is a different feeling from being in love, what that feeling feels like in the heart. We say this to prove a point in that your barometer, your guidance system is Source because you came from Source. We are always guiding you through this system. Your heart, if it feels off, kind of not, you should, that is coming from your guidance system, your heart saying, we don't agree with this. This is not in alignment with who you are. And we know the difference between the two is quite different. One emotion feels light, and the other, it feels heavy and constricting. Strong enough emotion, the individual, the human, will actually feel like everything is caving in. It's constricting. Intuition was never explained in this way, and your guidance system was never explained in this way. And it is our hope that those of you will start to get an idea of what we are trying to convey to you. And now it is very rare that you will see those teachers actually healing in front of you all as a way of learning. Linda, all of you know, is a healer by nature, and it is embedded in her to the very core of her essence. And this is why she is able to go very quickly in and out. And it is most There's nothing like seeing it for your own eyes. And she knows that there's something happening, and she cannot put her finger on it. Something happened today, and she doesn't mind us sharing, but quite embarrassed being exposed of all her experiences and all her stories. But it fits, and it proves a point. And normally she would feel so deprived emotionally of love and affection and attention that sometimes, well, it drove her really to make choices that was not benefiting her. And this is exactly our point of she was looking at the lens of really from a 4 or 5 or 6-year-old child. That is what we're talking about. So the choices that she had made that wasn't necessarily wise, could be dangerous. That 4-year-old, 5, 6-year-old child didn't care, because the need of emotion and affection was more important. And it is the lens of the forgotten about child that was making those choices. And this also was a very, very big one for her. She was relentless at conquering this one, and equally feeling quite frustrated and wanting to throw in the towel and throw her hands up and say, I give up, I can't, I give up, I don't care. We know she wouldn't, and she's just saying it because she was quite angry. And today something had happened where an old relationship person that she dated, and very intense overall experience that was, reunited, and he wanted to reunite and talk again, and bought her a plane ticket. And well, Linda did not feel right about this after speaking with him. The old Linda would have felt this and disregarded, not minding, not taking the heed of the precautions she was feeling by what she was feeling in here, not in here. She was feeling it in her heart. And this time, after speaking with them for several hours, for a couple of days, she started picking up these clues and red flags. And today she declined the offer, and not in a mean, begrudgingly, not in very cordially. And it is after she had looked back and she's my God, I finally have gotten to the point to where any affection is better than no affection. I'm better. I don't need to get it out there. She wished him well, and he, getting very angry, started, and it did not get her angry like it used to. See, that's not seeing that experience from the age of I'm forgotten lens. Those lenses are, it's unveiled, that she has lifted, taken those spectacles off, and now she has room to really allow herself to make a different choice on how to view it. This was huge, a very, very big one. Because when you do this, you see, you're not operating from lack. You're also not operating from scarcity, which she used to do all the time. I don't know when I get my next fix, so let me just take what I can now. You take more rations because you don't know when your next meal is. And this is no way to live. And we say this to paint the picture of the feeling that we want to convey. You don't want to narrow yourself down in this way, because it is always operating from scarcity. Scarcity means scarcity. And her vibration said or told the universe, I don't need this kind of affection. I know there's more out there and better ones. And until then, I was just feeling my own mother yesterday. I am full. And she can really say it and mean it and feel it. That is her new spectacles that she has on. The new spectacles of I am whole, but it's not I am whole from here. Because most of you say it from here, and we say that is a very good tactic and a disguise. You fool a lot of people, and you even fool your mate, your significant other, by putting those on along with your nice outfits and walking around. But it's from here. And you make it believable by your garments, the way you dress. That is not to say to look like shambles. That is not what we're saying. But most of you use this as a vehicle, the love vehicle, or the I'm important vehicle, or the literal meaning of the word vehicle. You even use this, and it's very convincing and fools many of you. The only humans it does fool are those who are doing the very same thing. You are just fooling each other. Maybe this one is fooling in the way of love, or this one is fooling in the way of knowledge and education. This one is fooling by the amount of money he has by having a new car. And this one feels by the confidence of has them and the clothes she wears. But it's all the same. You are all just fooling each other. Fools only fool fools. We are not calling you a fool, and it's analogous. And really, she wasn't up here. She also is a thinker, so she knows the difference. She's always in here. What does this mean? I'm over analyzing, and it is this that makes her such a good teacher. We agree. Nonetheless, she is quite in her head, always brewing and this and that and thinking. Quite familiar of where that state is after feeling what she felt. It wasn't here. She was her own mother. She is whole. And she didn't feel it or rationalize in here. You do this by convincing up here. You convince. It's done by convincing. Being persuasive with your language, with words. That's all it is. But what's in a true emotion, it is truly felt in here. Language was done to manipulate and persuade into believing the other. True emotion, it is felt in here, and it exudes, it goes out, and it's expansive in nature. And well, she didn't need to say she had new spectacles on, of feeling whole, to convey to the other of the point. She just felt it, and quite amazed, even fewer words were expressed from her own mouth. No, Linda expressing her mind and not having an issue with speaking, had very few things to say. In this most case, less is more, and when you could know from here, no words needs to be expressed. You see this occasionally when two humans have compassion towards each other, and at the same time they feel that compassion, and it's the same feeling. No words needs to be expressed. This is revolutionary. Being able to utilize her experiences and her body in ways in order to teach. And by having you see it, well, firsthand, and having her go through doubts herself. I don't know what this is going to do. I know this is going. Yes. It's like being in the front row theater of a real life movie, or you're there, you're right there. And how can you not be impacted by this? You must. This is the epigenetic effect, meaning you all are affected by the environment, and the more you see someone in this way changing in such ways and dramatically, and yet it is quite inspiring, and it leaves you, and then there's an imprint now on you that's imprinted, and it won't go away. And eventually that imprint will start to maturate and grow within you. Quite revolutionary indeed. So lead by listening and taking heed to your own intuition. And you do this by not being in your head, but by feeling. And we would also ask, how do I feel about this? What does my intuition feel? You go in and feel. If you are in cross between a decision or something of that nature, don't go by the way you're thinking. Intuition, being in tune with source, that is you, your guidance system. They're all the same, you all just say it differently. Guide, source, intuition, gut feeling, heart center. You all have this capability, and we all need reminding some. That is being called human. Far too many of you are living your life from the neck up, and the body is coming along for the ride. And we could also tell you to start living your life from the, that's not going to work. Seeing someone living it and transforming underneath your eyes, this is in regards to very challenging topics that no one goes into for reasons of unimportance. Maybe finances are more tangible, stock markets and this and that, and this materialistic things, these emotion stuff are not that important. It's on the contrary. You don't teach by giving orders. That's not how it's done. We are always intuitively guiding each one of you. And if you only knew just how much we speak with you every day, you would be baffled. But you can never hear us when you're up there in your head thinking. We love you dearly, and you are the most prized possession that we cherish, and never forget how perfect you are. And we leave you in this silence. Oh, holy cow. Oh my goodness. Wow. I know I always say that, right? Another success. Holy cow. Wow. She, well, first I felt two different, I don't know who that other one was that was covering my eyes. It almost felt like it was another angel. Like, it was weird. I don't know. I was starting to meditate, I just felt like I didn't see figures, but I actually I saw these like rows of angels or something like that, like here. So that was pretty cool. Like they were just all gathering here. That was really cool. And you know, part of me is like, did I just make that up? Am I just saying that? Did I just make it up? No. At this point, I'm not. Yeah, it's very hard to not change to being a better person doing this. And it's true. Doing channeling and these archangels and stuff and having them speak through me, it's epigenetics. It's your product of your environment. So naturally I'm like changing because I'm always channeling or whatever, you know. It really is something else. And yeah, I'm just like super calm right now. Very different energy, very different. She was very prestigious, prompt, refined. That's it. Very refined. And very prompt and refined in her ways. Yeah, it wasn't like, oh my goodness, all these profound. It was very, no, it's very subtle, like the butterfly effect, very minor things that people overlook, but when applied, like, wow. And that's what she wanted to really hit home. That's the feeling. That people really start to reconnect with their, you know, you hear it, you listen to your intuition, would you? And some people don't really know what that feels like, or where it is. And I didn't know, I mean, I was baffled the fact that it's the heart, that's where source, I mean, I was like, whoa, you know? So sometimes I see things that are even surprising to me. And that's, I leave you with that. I leave you with your intuition and trusting your intuition, trusting you. And that's all you need. Because it can be felt. You don't need to be saying, you're kind of trying to convince us. We're all having our spectacles on, convincing us, convincing everybody. Yeah. And I leave you that with the utmost love and peace and the freedom to choose and